Nightmare Night. One of my favorite holidays of the year. It's a time when every pony comes out at night and expresses their unique creativity, their love and passion for being other characters from their imaginations or their favorite roles in fiction. But Nightmare Night isn't always enjoyable for every pony. In the case of Fluttershy, for example, she spends every Nightmare Night trembling and hiding in fear from whatever nightmarish abominations she might be trying to avoid. Whether it's all in her head or whether she has something legitimate to fear that could be out and about during this one night of the year is hard to say. But during this time, Fluttershy is quite a bit more cowardly than she's ever been during the rest of the season. So much so that it's almost a disability to her, keeping her inside constantly, always alert for the slightest, seemingly most ridiculous things that could possibly do her some kind of harm. But this particular Nightmare Night, something interesting started her on the path of change. She had neglected to have enough food for all of her animals and had to go out on Nightmare Night, the one night of the year she's most afraid of, and she had to obtain food for her animals. This meant her having to brave being out and about, despite the fact that every single little thing scares her. Now, some of this is justified. Some ponies do like to pull pranks on Nightmare Night, and that could be a legitimate problem. And who knows what other magic or supernatural hijinks are about on this night. But for the most part, it's just ponies in costume having fun and not meaning any pony any harm, just wanting candy. Not really anything to fear. Perhaps Fluttershy is troubled by stories passed down for generations. Or perhaps her fears have some legitimacy even though we don't all see it. But regardless, she braved things to venture out and try to find food for her animals. And even if she was scared by the antics of pranksters, she eventually made it to the castle where she began to look for her friends. When her friends found her, they invited her to stay out with them and party and enjoy being out, which she accepted, completely forgetting about the needy and hungry animals at home. She stayed out to party for a while, but her fears constantly got in the way of enjoying the party, and one game after the other, she wasn't able to participate in anything because of increasingly more irrational fears that were preventing her from completing the games. Even her costume suffered because of irrational fears that kept popping up and hindering her from enjoying a good costume. Oh, just hold on a minute. It sounds like I got a knock at the door. It's some foals coming around to ask for some candy. Oh, hello there.
Nightmare Night, what a fright. Give me something good to bite.
Ah, you are in such an interesting costume.
Yes, this arbor, it's my costume. Because it couldn't possibly be real Royal Guard arbor, because I couldn't possibly be a secret Royal Guard who's been sent to watch over the Main Six. That idea would just be crazy, wouldn't it?
Well, happy Nightmare Night.
Hey, you pesky kids, leave that tree alone! Rawr!
You have to excuse me occasionally. It seems I'm going to have interruptions like that throughout the night. Anyhow, it was Twilight's suggestion that rather than allowing herself to be scared of what scares might come after her, Fluttershy should be the one doing the scaring, controlling the situation as it were. She took her friend up on this suggestion and invited the group out for a haunted tea party. She made some attempts to frighten her friends by preying on their individual fears. Rarity's fear of not having her fashions complimented, Pinkie Pie's fear of not having friends, Applejack's fear of not being prepared for unexpected guests. Decent attempt, but one that didn't go over so well. Having failed to entertain her friends, Fluttershy, with the encouragement from her animal friends, came up with a new idea. Excuse me, seems I have more guests.
Nightmare night, what a fright, give me something sweet to bite.
Oh, hello there. Hey, that's a great costume you got on. Here's your candy, happy Nightmare Night. Anyhow, back to the little story. Fluttershy, motivated by her animal friends, she made a second attempt at scaring every pony. This time with more elaborate costumes on each of the animals, as well as a new, more scary costume for herself. Drawing from actual past experiences, she revisited a particularly traumatic time both for her and her friends, and allowed that to resurface. Although it would take diving into a whole other story to understand why Fluttershy's new costume choice was scary, it was nevertheless effective. Her friends were terrified by the costume and enjoyed it. However, Fluttershy, while discovering she was capable of facing Nightmare Night without being afraid, and she was capable of scaring her friends, it was something she actually didn't enjoy. And since it was something she didn't enjoy, it was decided that she would continue to stay at home and have a quiet night alone, rather than repetitively join her friends for their fun and festivities. And it's perfectly okay not to enjoy something even if you discover you're good at it. At least you discovered that you had the ability to do it, even if you really didn't like it. And if you choose not to do something because you don't like it, that's far better than not doing it because you're afraid to do it. Sometimes you don't know what you like and don't like until you stop being afraid of it and give it a try. And that's the lesson that Fluttershy walked away with. And the rest of the Nightmare Night went off as normal. All of her friends had great costumes, and they all had fun. Looks like I have one more visitor tonight. Hey, now that is a great costume. Here, have yourself some candy. Well, happy Nightmare Night. And happy Nightmare Night to all you out there. I can't wait to hear all about your costumes and your adventures. The photo of today is Fluttershy scaring her friends. Man, what an awesome costume. Now that's it, and happy nightmare night, every pony. Perhaps Fluttershy is passed down by stories handed around. Perhaps Fluttershy is troubled by stories passed down for generations. Nightmare night, about a fight, give us something sweet to bite. Nightmare night, about a fight, give us something sweet to bite. Nightmare night, about a fight, give us something sweet to bite. Nightmare night, about a fight, give us something sweet to bite. Nightmare night, about a fight, give us something sweet to bite. Nightmare night, what a fright, give us something sweet to bite. Nightmare night, what a fright, something sweet to bite, give me. Nightmare night, what a fright, give me something sweet to bite.
Nightmare night, what a fright, give me something good to bite. Yes, this arbor, it's my costume. Because they couldn't possibly be real Royal Guard Arbor, because I couldn't possibly be a secret Royal Guard who's been sent to watch over the Maid 6. That idea would just be crazy, wouldn't it?
Hey, you pesky kids, leave that tree alone! Nightmare night, what a fright, give me something sweet to bite.